Hello everyone, welcome to the first live stream ever of Donkey Crew. I'm Harold404, your community manager. I'm gonna be your host for this MAA session. Joining me we have Lucas and Chris, respectively producer and producer.
Hello, guys.
And this is the first time we're doing a live stream, guys, so please forgive any audio issue and technical problem we might have. In fact, we have already a lot of people asking us to turn up the volume. I'm gonna try to do that. Audio, everybody's screaming audio. Okay, I'm sorry guys. Yeah, it's super low. I'm sorry guys.
Technical
Scream into the mic, Chris.
I have no problem with that.
That's Lucas.
Alright. Scream. Sorry guys. Technical difficulties. Should be slightly better now.
It's
Alright guys. Bit better, yeah. Okay, cool. Alright guys, this is an MAA and as you know, we're ready to answer any question you want. We are live simultaneously on Mixer, Twitch, YouTube and Facebook. I'm getting comments from each side. So as a starter, we collected some questions from the Nitro chat on Discord. And I'm gonna start with one question for you, Lucas.
My god, that was fast.
Alright. Will the game get wild life other than Rupu?
Can you repeat that again? But I guess I understood, but
Yeah,
let's make
this is a question from our moderator King Patata that also happened to be a Nitro booster. He's asking if the game is gonna have a wildlife beside the Rupus.
well,
Wildlife.
that's interesting because So we already have the Rupus in, and of course we already announced that we have like the giant worm as well that we showed at Gamescom, and you guys already know about it. We have a really cool trailer on it, and I will not tease that much, but you can expect more wildlife coming to Last Oasis. We already have some stuff that we're planning, some stuff that we're testing, and I'm not gonna like spoil that much, but Rupus and worms are not the only creatures that will live in the nomad's land, and yes, I guess that's the stint I can say, I guess.
Yeah, I think that's about all we want to say on that topic. There will be more things, but as far as the specifics and the details, we're not going to go into that at the moment. You guys can just wait until we give some updates about the topic.
That's true.
Right. Next question right away. There is like a lot of stuff coming in, and from over Twitch, the Mr. X is asking, how grindy do you expect to be? Will people can only play 1-2 hours? They be able to enjoy the game?
Can you repeat the question?
Yeah. How grindy you expect the game to be? Will people be able to play 1-2 hours per day without be able to enjoy the game without spending over that much time?
So how grindy do we expect the game to be? So
can you enjoy the game experience? Like, I assume the guy wants to know if the game experience is gonna be pleasant, even playing just a limited amount of time per day. So what's your take?
So really, it depends a lot on the individual and how he's playing. Is he in a clan or is he playing solo? Those two things change quite a bit how much you can do in just a handful of hours or minutes, say. Plus your play style. Like if you want to be a PvPer or if you're more focused on harvesting and crafting, this also changes it. But certainly if you can only commit to say like, I don't know, 3-4 hours a week, there's still game there for you to participate in. Absolutely. But I think definitely the game is best played, with clans and with longer play sessions for sure. But like I said, it depends on your individual way of playing, and you can definitely do both. As developers, we definitely don't get as much time to play as we would like. So, we're also ourselves playing with that and trying to find a good point where your play sessions aren't quite too short, but you can still accomplish things. So.
Yeah, and like I can add that like we also try to support a lot of emergent gameplay. So you actually definitely will have stuff to do And if you're playing with your friends, you can like maybe you have only 2 hours. Maybe you can set up a goal for that 2 hours, and actually you can like traverse the land, like go different maps. And yes, if you're not in the, let's say, the race for being the biggest and stronger clan that owns everything, you're gonna be that backbone there, like, and you can do a lot of stuff.
And of course, there's a few mechanics that we've put in the game which really help to allow for shorter play sessions. So, for example, we have a safe logout, which allows you to, if you remain still on your walker, or at least if your walker is not moving, you can still run around it and you can do some things. But if the walker is still for a short period of time, I believe right now it is 2 minutes, maybe 3 minutes.
3 minutes.
But then you're able to basically transport that walker, basically teleport, say, to the edge of the map. And now what that means is basically you go into this no man's land, like a waiting area, a lobby, and you can't be attacked there. Your walker isn't located on any physical playable areas in the game world. So that means your walker, the crafting resources, the crafting machines, all of these things yourself that were attached to that. Maybe you packed your base onto the walker. Well, that's also going to be teleported out as well. So you're in that safe area. So this really helps to shorten the play session, or at least allow for shortening of it, without too many other side effects.
And that's fair. Yeah. So long story short, yes.
Yeah.
All right. So another question, interesting one from People's Gaming over Twitch, asking, are we gonna have modding in our game?
Modding.
Is Dust Oasis gonna support modding?
That's a tough question. That's really tough
question. Yeah, there is.
So obviously, what we have at release is a game mode where basically it's similar to your more traditional MMOs insofar as you join a realm or a shard, and you have thousands of other players here, and you're playing with all of them together. Now, there are different, say, isolated maps in this area, and you can travel to and from these, but essentially you're all on this one shared realm. And so what that means is that you can't really allow for too much modding, because you need to maintain security. We obviously need to combat anything like duping. The economy is a very large part of the game, so that would be rather game breaking. But when it comes to modding things like UI elements, we're not going to have that at release, but it's something to consider for ourselves in the future, especially because Donkey Crew, our background is modding.
Yes.
So we definitely want to support it, but it just sort of is a question about resources. How much is this actually going to take to be able to do? And does it risk putting the security of the game, say, at risk?
Well, the next question is much more, regarding the lifestyle of Donkey Crew, specifically.
Cool.
From Stony Lanchan, and sorry if I'm misspelling that, which is asking, are beards mandatory in Donkey Crew?
Are what?
Beards. Are beards mandatory?
Beers, no.
I wouldn't say it's mandatory, actually.
No.
I guess we could actually have more beers.
I mean,
I think we could.
It's definitely like duty free, I guess. Like it's like you don't need, like, it's entrance free. You can enter with how many beers you want.
I mean, we have a woman in this studio, so I guess I don't recall them having beards, so I guess that's fine.
So I think we have multiple people in the studio that don't drink.
Yes, but they also party.
Sorry, I think I misspelled bird.
Oh my god!
I thought you were talking about.
I was talking about beers.
Something you drink.
Yeah, forget about alcohol.
Beards.
Maybe
there was another question correct.
That's true though.
Yeah. Sorry guys. I'm not a native English speaker. I'm sorry.
It's fine. Giorgio is like not that easy to understand sometimes, but he does a good job.
So as far as beards go, actually, I do think that we have a majority of males with beards.
Who doesn't have a beard here?
Yeah, that's difficult.
No, he has a beard. It's just short.
Yeah.
CP doesn't have beard.
Chats doesn't
Does Chats not?
a beard right now.
Sometimes it grows, but that could just be like the long night.
Yeah, Pogo doesn't have a beard. Yeah, and Sir.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so beards are not beards. I'm sorry for the mispronunciation. Anyway,
And neither of them are mandatory, but they are welcome.
yeah, pretty much.
That's true.
Now, I see a recurring question going on. Is Chad's married?
Well, I can't answer for him. I actually don't know that information.
Yeah,
if I knew, I would not disclose it.
Yeah, I think that's a question that has to be asked to Chad specifically.
Yes.
So yeah.
Or to some city hall if you want to try, but
yeah, I guess that's true.
yeah,
That works.
just search Chad's marriage. I don't know.
And then I have a backup question while I'm reading, catching up with everything else. We have a long shot question here. I'm not sure if we're gonna be able to answer that, but let's give it a try, guys.
Let's try.
What are your goals for the game after release? And we're talking about not early access, I mean post early access.
Okay. There is the easy way and there is the complicated way to answer that. For sure, of course, like our strategy is to release the game on early access. You guys, of course, know that we pushed the release because we're actually adding more content than we had planned for the early access phase, and we actually doing it pre-early access. So after we release, we have like a plan on actually supporting the game and actually keep the development going for like 1.5 2 years, but also actively doing it with the feedback from the community. So there's a lot of possibilities for Last Oasis for sure. Of course, we have a clear like plan on how we actually want the game to feel, but we're gonna like test with you guys and like discover a lot of stuff that's like what we're actually aiming to do with the early access release. I guess I will stick to this easy answer.
Yeah. Now the 1.5 to 2 year thing is that's not something that's necessarily set in stone. We think that probably it's going to take about that long for us to feel comfortable with the quality of the game and the polish of the game. But you know, it can be longer as well. It can be shorter, but it would sort of really depend on, you know, just how the early access goes and how the community is with everything that we have so far. So yeah, at this point we don't really have any hard decisions made here, and because we're trying to really keep things open and not as a sort of a methodology, we try not to plan so far ahead because so many things can change. So this is, you know, nothing different there.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go back to an old question that popped out before and that catch my attention from Slebe over Twitch, asking us who will win in a real life fight club between your staff?
Ooh. Our staff.
Yeah, I mean we have people that actually can fight with real swords. So
definitely.
Well, yeah.
Not
I mean,
me.
this is the question. Is it really matters? Are they barehanded or do they have actual weapons?
It's a
and
club
do they
fight,
get to
right?
choose their weapons?
Okay.
Isn't it a club fight?
Yeah, okay, Slebe, you have to specify your question more. So next
Yeah.
question from Yeldur. You might remember that guy.
Yep.
What are you guys drinking?
This is
Just plain
good
lemonade, yeah.
Lemonade.
Just lemon.
Yep.
Okay.
Yes, Polish citrinowa.
Okay, yeah.
Lemoniada.
Mine is called, cactus extract. But
Yeah. You got the upgrade.
It's a really pleasant drink.
yeah, not bad. Now, moving to more serious topics. Let's see what's going on in the comment section. It's pretty much live here. Did we add the bow to the game? Not that I know of.
A bow?
No bow.
Oh, which kind of bow? Like a weapon bow or like a cereal bowl? Like it's done.
A weapon bow.
Okay, because the cereal bowl, you kind of almost have one, but the weapon bow, no.
Okay, that was a quick one. And then more people are saying that Chad is cute, if Chad's married, and so on. Yeah, lots of people like asking question about.
Guy's good looking.
Yeah.
He's still alive. Yeah, he's in good shape.
Still alive.
All right. There was a very interesting question from Lord Falke, which I have to pick that back.
I remember that name.
Well, the question was basically, oh yeah, here it is. have you guys thought about the culture and the people who are on the opposite side of the world than the nomads and the flotilla? Which I mean can be explained like, is there like any other kind of culture?
Yeah.
Do they even exist?
Yeah, that's a good question. That's a good question.
I mean, consider the planet is like half frozen, half on fire.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm not sure that our nomads know at the moment.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't think we can really say.
Yeah, what you can, of course, like for people that are watching us and are not familiar with the lore of Last Oasis, is that, well, these nomads, they need to keep traveling to get away from the scorching sun. So actually they don't know night. They only know actually like the light day, and they live in this shard that is actually livable, but everything else is all either burned or completely frozen. And well, this is actually to be seen. Are the nomads actually gonna explore the Frostlands at some point, or the Scorching Lands? I don't think that's possible, but yeah, we cannot actually say.
Okay, we have multiple people over YouTube that are asking about, how big the clans can be, and how big can be inside the Last Oasis.
Yeah.
You guys decided anything yet, or?
I think at the moment we don't have a cap.
Yeah.
I know we've talked about it a lot, but one thing that always comes up is like, well, okay, so you put a cap on the clan, but well, why not just make a new clan? And like, how is this helping anything? So we've considered it a fair bit, but the important thing is also to figure out, how do you plug those loopholes? How do you keep those from coming back in? And basically clans having 200 players, 300 players swarming areas, even though one actual clan in game can only be 50 people or something like that. Say, like, it's just not that easy to do at the moment. So we're still playing with this. And in our beta so far, we haven't really experienced the type of gameplay where we would be able to make practical decisions based upon actual things that have occurred in game. So
yeah,
we'll
that's
have to see at some point.
Like one of the like honest game development answers, because like we actually need to see some side effects as well, so some stuff that we just can't easily test without a really big bunch of players. So even though we have a really active community and a big community on our betas, it doesn't mean that we actually collected like data that actually is rather sufficient for us to make like a educated decision on that. So we are actually playing with that, and the early access actually grants us a little bit of flexibility on that.
Yeah.
All right. So there is a lot of questions coming on, and just as clarification for those who are following us, we are trying to pick up the questions that are not being answered previously on any other interview, etc. So don't be offended, guys, if we're skipping some of the questions. Most likely it means we already answered that in the past. We're gonna try to answer, the most new, fresh, and unanswered before question. Not to mention the silly ones, like for example what we are drinking, because apparently that's a very important topic for some of you.
Well, it surely looks like a Brazilian drink, but it's not.
Okay, fair enough. Next question from TNG Gutan. Are there going to be blueprints, and if so, are they going to be like Arc BPS or like Atlas BPS? Oh, blueprints.
BPs.
Need more resources or need different types? So I guess you guys got understood the question.
Yeah. So are there going to be blueprints? These tend to come as tradable items you loot, and then that lets you craft an item. At the moment, we don't have plans for this. We've discussed it very, very heavily. But it just, at the moment, doesn't seem like something that is fitting for us. Well, it'll keep coming back up, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting mechanic that can actually be tied up to our systems. But right now we don't have it, and but of course, like as Chris said, we're probably gonna stumble into this question again, and if anything changes, we're gonna send a change log.
Now, there is a bit of fight going on in the chat, and I'm not going to control it at the moment. Somebody asked more than once, I believe, what is the most explosive weapon in the game at the moment?
explosive.
And I
weapon
wonder
in the
what
game.
they mean by explosive, like actually explosive or...
Yeah, it depends on what do you mean. Like if
Okay, so let's answer both. I mean, what's the most explosive weapon in terms of like, boom?
In terms of the boom, actually, yeah, I'm not really sure. We have no, I won't say that. We have a few things that go boom, but
Let's say go Michael Bay. Yeah.
yeah,
boom.
I don't know. Can we skip that one?
No, I
Okay,
would say
so
like
what's the
one
one?
of the biggest one is the catapult, but the most like the real bomb in the game actually is the water throwing thing. Like it's the water station. Like it's
But it
it's just
doesn't
so
go
really
boom.
fun. It doesn't go boom, but
Yeah.
if you're gonna use like a 70s thing, like it is the bomb, you know, that's at least for me, in my opinion, that's the bomb.
That's
weapon.
true.
That's really
Yeah, that's fun.
And what about explosive in terms of, I don't know, exciting?
Well,
Well, the
that one,
water hose
yeah,
station.
The water hose
It's
station. Yeah.
exciting as fuck.
Because when you shoot people with it, it can push them around. So it has this physics aspect to them, and that goes not just for the players themselves, but you can push any physical object.
Yeah,
So
don't go
it's
that
pretty interesting.
All right. Next question from bunch of letters and numbers I'm not gonna try to read, I'm sorry. Will there be lakes in Lost Oasis? And if so, can you build a ship then?
A bunch of letters and numbers. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, we do have lakes. Right now they're fairly shallow, but in terms of boats, no. I mean we don't think it fits. Certainly for the nomads, it's not fitting for them. The world being as it is, requiring the nomads to travel, basically just means that having a boat sit in one lake is kind of pointless because in just a couple of days or weeks in terms of actual amount of hours, they would have to move on from it and abandon it. So at the moment we don't have something like that planned, but you know, there's always the future. Maybe things will change.
Yeah, but there's lakes and you actually can get water from it.
Yeah.
Some different kinds of it, like that, different prices as well, like you can see in the supermarket. But yeah, we don't have like that deep like lakes. We definitely don't have oceans right now. Yeah, big lakes maybe at some point.
Yeah.
Good. And next question is something that it sounds like really recent. I mean, it's very relevant to something that is happening recently in the beta. From Mega9629 over Twitch asking, will there be a way to improve items?
A way to improve items. We're experimenting with a lot of that stuff. If we talk about items in a general way, we have different machines. We have like weapons. We have tools. We have the walkers. You have crafting stations, and like we have some of them that are possible to be upgraded and to actually use extra power. We have the torque, for an example, that you can use on it, and we also are experimenting with some stuff regarding the quality of the items. So this is something more familiar to, I guess, the hardcore RPG.
Yeah.
looter.
This is certainly something that probably gets more to the questioner's question, and this is something that really you can take one item and it can have multiple values to it. So in that sense, you know, you can craft one weapon at hour 5, and then you craft it again at hour, say, 200, and they're going to be, at least if you used different resources for it, they're going to be starkly different in their effectiveness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So to cut short, what we have right now is that we have some things that you can actually attach stuff to it, so it's better, and some things that you actually can't attach anything, but you can actually craft them in a better quality in the root of the crafting.
So one thing on this topic that is important to us is character creation, character customization, insofar as you can sort of create, or rather find an item or an armor, say, that you really like. Maybe it just looks great to you, and you can stick with this. You're not gonna say, outgrow it because you're now progressing too far, or at least in some ways you will, but you'll still be able to craft that armor in a way where it will still be relevant and it will still be strong for your position in the game's progression. So in that way, if you do have some type of favorite equipment, whether that's armors, weapons, any other items really, you can stick with those and you can create your play style around that. And that's something that we value, this idea, and that's also why we sort of created this quality and this upgrading system, say. So.
Right. Next question from YouTube. LOG Aran Hildream. Sorry if I'm misspelling that. The trade areas will be safe, or in the area, PvP area will be allowed, and trade areas will be controlled on a PC. Oh, okay. I will try to rephrase that a bit.
Trade stations?
Trade areas will be safe, or there's gonna be PvP and the trade areas are controlled. Okay, it's two separate questions here. Basically, are asking first of all, are the trading areas safe, or there's PvP in it? And I think we approached that topic in an interesting way. So please elaborate.
Yeah, we have the trading stations, right? Where actually, of course, you can, and we are also like looking at systems that can support it, like trade anywhere in the game with other players. But of course, there's the trading station. That is where the nomads actually do like it's the market, right? You do every merchant is gonna go there to sell their stuff, and with the trading station, you can sell to the flotilla, you can sell to the players, and this place is safe to an extent, right? Yeah. We have an extent of like time that it's actually safe for you to go there, do your stuff, and go away, because of course it's a heavy point of interest for pirates and looters and stuff like that. So you need to be aware, even though when you're leaving that place. But yes, so I guess that covers a little bit how trading areas are actually safe. But the other part of the question was interesting as well.
Yeah, are the trading areas controlled by NPCs or real players?
It sort of depends on what you mean, but for the most part, it's real players. Yeah. Basically, when you claim an area, a map that has a trade station on it, you also claim that trade station. So, in that sense, yes, it's controlled by players for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, specifically there was another question about how the economy is going to work, but I guess you sort of answered that already.
How the economy is going to work?
Yeah, this is.
Well, I think there's more. No,
that can be really deep. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot more that we can say here. I mean, so you do have the trade stations, which to more classic MMO viewers that are familiar with those, it's similar to like Eve's Escrow or auction houses, things like this. So you can go and you can buy items, and you can post items there with a price to be sold, and someone else can go there and buy your item. But also, the game is designed in such a way where there's a lot of logistics that needs to be handled, and what this does is it also creates rise for pirating, and so you can sort of acquire wealth, which you can use in the economy, not just through buying and selling things, and not just through grinding, but PvP is a large part of this as well. Stealing from other players is obviously a core, but not something that by any means everyone has to do. So that's a large part of it.
All right. Many people over the chat are concerned somehow about the possible implementation of ranged weapons. So can you tell guys a bit more about that? Considering that your game is primarily melee PvP based.
No, absolutely. So
how you plan to address the balancing of these?
So basically, we come from a mod where melee combat was a large part of it, but it also had ranged weapons. It had bows, things like this, and unfortunately, there wasn't a lot we could do because we were at the basically we were limited by what the engine, which was out of our control, could do. And so here we have a lot more tools available. Basically anything we can imagine and come up with, things that we came up with but couldn't implement 7-8 years ago, well, we can implement here. So those practices, those ideas that we had but we couldn't do, well, they're all now relevant here. So there's a ton of things that we can do. When it comes to practical ways, like how are we balancing this in practice, the actual values, how long does it take for the arm to go back, how long does it take for the arm to go forward, what is the flight speed of the projectile, what is the accuracy of it. I mean, there's so many different things that you can touch upon, and really it's hard to say at the moment exactly what we're going to do, because a lot of this takes iteration to really fine-tune things. But one thing that is clear is that for us, we don't really want the ranged weapons to get out of control. And by that, what I mean is we want melee combat to be the predominant way that you fight in PvP. We do want players to be able to support with ranged weapons, and there's going to be some other ways of using these outside of PvP. So there's PvE now where you can use these ranged weapons. They'll have more value there for sure than they do in PvP. But as far as the specifics, well, there's not one specific thing. And I think trying to find one thing that, like, I would say sort of causes them to lose their value is probably not the right approach to it. So I think it needs a more nuanced approach in balancing and getting it to a place where it's meeting our expectations and our desires, as well as satisfying the community. So.
Yeah, we can definitely say that it's not a no for sure, like we are definitely experimenting with that, but in a way that actually don't break our mechanics of melee combat.
So the melee is still going to be predominant, yeah?
Of course,
yes,
yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
All right. There is one question that I saved for later from another one of our mods, Squeegee, which asks a very interesting question. What were the previous concepts for last two Oasis? Like, what was the game before the Walkers, before what it is right now? I mean, can you tell some inside stories, what was the game at the beginning, anything?
So
Chris can, I can't.
Yeah, so
Lemonade.
At first we didn't even have there's a lot that we didn't have. Shit. When we started, it was not of this genre, that's for sure. When we started on this, we had a long game design document, and we eventually threw that away. Didn't take too long, actually. Once we decided that walkers were going to be the core of the experience, the game really started to come to life. We experimented with a lot of different things. We, of course, tried to do some sort of battlegrounds type of gameplay scenarios, but those we didn't feel were sort of...
You mean a battle royale?
Yeah. We didn't feel like it was really quite so suitable for walkers. We felt like it didn't really work with the way that you fight with those. So we got away from that, and it really wasn't very long before we started to develop something that actually looked very similar to what we have now. This sort of traveling aspect has actually always been a core of the game, but it just came in a different form. It wasn't really traveling in an individual direction. It was more running outwards. So melee combat was always a core as well. Just with our team, that's always been something that's pretty important to us.
Yeah, coming from the Mountain Blade experience, I see.
Yeah, absolutely. And we like the genre. We've played a lot of other games, and we try to do research there. But I think those are sort of the core elements that we had that have sort of stuck with us. Everything else has just sort of been iteration, just throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what sticks. And that's how we like to develop.
All right. Yeah. I guess there is many more stories, but let's move forward.
Yes.
Yeah. This thing can take all the MIA by itself, I guess.
Yeah.
But I think that's gonna be a good input for future articles. And
absolutely.
If there is any journalist out there, feel free to ask more about that. You just reach us out, and we'll talk more about that.
We could also show a lot of the early concepts that we did. There's a ton of stuff.
Cool. I'm pretty sure
assets.
That.
Really cool.
Yeah.
So, from Schnoob Grub, or how is it? Teen Donkey Crew, how customizable? How moddable will be? Will the walker be? Will we be able to live on your walker without building a base on land?
Yes.
That's yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if you need to build a base, you need to move them often. Okay. Let's start with
there's a lot of. That's where the emergent gameplay comes from. Like, there's a lot of possibilities and opportunities for you. Like, we think of our walkers as a mobile base. So you actually have it's almost like a moving house. So it's like a ship, but on land, right, on sand. And you actually can store all your stuff there. You can actually craft some stuff there, and of course, the size of the walker determines a lot of stuff, like how much this base can be big, how many people can actually stand on it, how safe you are, because the bigger you are, the more that you are exposed, how fast you are, how strong you are, and stuff like that. But we also have the base gameplay, and one of the coolest things is the pack base feature. So you have your walker, you can have a stationary base, and you're gonna need a stationary base for some stuff if you want to be more secure. But of course, everything that is stationary and persistent in the game world can be attacked, can be destroyed, can be looted. It's like harsh survival experience. Even your walker, if it's in the map. So you can play the game baseless if you want, but probably there's a lot of features, a lot of actually decisions that you're gonna take that is gonna require a base that you can actually travel with it around.
Yeah. But as a player, I try to actually stay away from bases. I don't really have a need for them in the way that I play. So certainly it depends upon the player and what his goals specifically are. If I had goals of crafting a few specific things, then probably I would want to set up a base and just be able to acquire resources sort of in an automated way that, you sort of need a base for. But as a PvP player that's generally solo, I don't play with too many other people, it just isn't something that I need. I can normally just kill someone and take what I need. So.
Yeah, and the base gameplay, he's not exactly building a castle or a fortress. It depends on, maybe you're gonna make a base without even walls, but they're gonna be super exposed. So it depends on your decision making, on how fast you need, how much resources you have to spend, and there's definitely uses for both.
Yeah.
All right. Next question from YouTube, I believe. Yeah. Would there be a way to upgrade the grappling hook, or simply are there different kind of grappling hooks?
There is.
Yeah, absolutely.
What's the difference between them? How did they play out differently from each other?
So they play right now. We're considering different ways that we can make the various grappling hooks even more differentiated from one another. But essentially at the moment, what we have is things like the length of the tether, the speed at which you can reel in, and the type of projectile. So right now, when you when you shoot a player with a grappling hook, it doesn't deal damage, but what it does is it slows him down. It sort of gives him like a movement penalty. So if someone is trying to run from you, what you can do is you can shoot him with a grappling hook, and it will, if it hits him, it'll slow him down, and then you can catch up to him. And so we're trying to also consider how can we change these projectiles as well to make this a little bit more dynamic, and so players can choose that as an option or choose something else. One thing that we thought of at one point in time was making it so that if you grapple through some bushes or fiber, it could automatically harvest them. Or some fruit that might be hanging, if you hit those, it would automatically pull the fruit back to you. This is also stuff that we've considered as well and are looking into. So,
the next question would be how the migration works. I mean, are we really migrating? Are we actually migrating? And how the map change over time and so on. So I guess they want to know more about all the moving between Oasis and Oasis, like the keep moving, stay, the world is dying thing. Yeah,
you definitely migrate a lot. Like there's a bunch of different maps with different biomes. They are not right now. They are not like when you go like to, for example, we have the canyon map. People are gonna experience it at some point. And when you go to a different canyon map, like it's not that the map is completely different, but we have some spawns that are gonna be different. So you're gonna actually have different resources popping up in different maps. So actually migrating is a necessity. It's gonna be a necessity because
absolutely,
yes, you need some resources that you only can find in that map, and you're actually gonna need to scout to actually understand that okay, this map has these resources, so we need to come here.
Not just that, but also at some point your map is going to, say, die. What will happen is, because we have this strip of land that is in the habitable zone, even though the Earth isn't rotating around its own axis, it still rotates around the sun.
Yes.
And so this strip...
It's still orbiting,
Yeah, so it still changes, this habitable zone, it moves. And so the locations where you're playing on, they also shift into the frozen and the burning wastelands. So you have to move out of the map before this happens. So this forces players to migrate itself. Not even talking about resources, which
so
obviously
that would be the second part of it.
Yeah, we're balancing things so that you can't just sit in one map or even two maps and get all of the resources in the game. You need to travel to more.
Yes.
So we can say that the migration is actually part of the gameplay.
It's part of the core.
Yes, it's like mandatory. You cannot stand in one map forever because it's gonna burn. If you want to stay there, well, we're gonna lose everything you have.
Yeah.
We have a couple of questions regarding how we're gonna deal with cheating in our game. Like
cheating.
Yeah. What's our what technology we implement? What's our plan, to deal with potential troublemakers that want to make the game ruin the game for the others?
Yeah, I mean, so we do already have anti-cheat, and it's something that we are taking seriously, but it's really hard to go into too many details here. Sort of the best practice when it comes to security is to give as little information as possible.
We're not telling how we're going to do it.
Basically, all we can really say here is we do have anti-cheat, and we are taking this seriously. So,
yeah. All right. And I have a request from multiple people. The table is lava. Don't touch it.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry.
Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, guys.
It's the lemonade. I'm trying to do it like maybe
very, very lightly.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry, guys, but this is our first stream, and we are still working on making this better. Hopefully, this is gonna be a good learning opportunity for us.
Yeah.
And thank you for letting us.
We'll suspend the microphone next time.
Yes.
So it's not touching the table.
Oh yeah, we're gonna try something about that. Okay. Multiple people have asked us, both from YouTube and Twitch, not many from Mixer, I see, are asking, in-game economy. I mean, there's gonna be like an in-game in-game items that you can buy for real money or premium currency, or is there any monetization?
So right now there is absolutely zero monetary transaction, and it's not something that we want to implement by any means. It's not something that we have plans of implementing. But to say no to the future is also not a practice that we try to do in Donkey Crew. We try not to say no to just about anything and leave everything on the table. That said, I wouldn't sweat it if it's something that you're worried about. When it comes to vanity items, if we did do any type of MTX, that's basically the form that it would take, is just some aesthetics.
All right. So it's never going to be anything that's going to impact the gameplay?
Absolutely not, no.
Awesome. I hope this is going to make a lot of people happy, but
yeah.
And okay, there is a lot of stuff going on right now, and I'm catching up with the question from 10 minutes ago, and the chat is getting crowded.
Nice.
More or less 100 people checking our faces right now.
That's cool.
And taking screenshots and putting them who knows where.
It's surprisingly hot here.
Yeah.
It was supposed to be winter.
Oh yeah. So, well, there is a question that I wanted to keep for the end, but I think I'm gonna ask it right now. It's a very sensitive topic that, like, literally everyone over Discord, and can confirm that is asking constantly.
Oh boy.
Keys, the beta keys. When we're gonna have a new new wave of keys, because we are being postponing this for a while. And so, do we have any news on that?
Not today.
Not today.
Yeah. Not today.
Sorry guys, not today.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm really glad that you're here with us. Have popcorn and stuff, but no keys. Not today. Yeah.
But it's gonna happen at some point.
Well, keep tuned into Discord and to Error 404.
As I said earlier, it's not Donkey Crew's practice to say no to things.
Not
but
forever.
that doesn't mean that we'll have it in the future. But again, we're not saying no. So yeah.
But not today.
Yeah, just not today.
Okay, this is a very specific question. Would there be any type of karma system?
Karma system.
Like if you do good deeds and you do bad deeds?
Yeah, that sounds like a very single player type of game theme, but maybe...
It's definitely interesting, but not something that we plan to do right now. Of course, when we talk about clan warfare and clan gameplay, we have experimented with some stuff on like ownership of claims. So actually we kind of have some metrics on, for an example, for players that want to see how safe a zone is. So you can see like how many like PvP death actually occurred in a map in the latest like 24 hours. It doesn't matter actually the time, but we have this kind of system going on. But of course we're still like having a big eye open to it to see how it actually unfolds. And then it actually doesn't tie to a karma system, but you definitely have some kind of ways that player can perceive clans and how they operate. But like a really player-based one, not for now.
Yeah, for the most part, we haven't really been in favor of some sort of personal tracking system. So like I go out and I kill Lucas,
and then you're like red score or something.
Yeah, no, something like that is not really what we're looking into. Now we have considered like bounties and things like that, but at the moment we haven't really found a good way to do it, and we're not sure that it's actually a good idea either. Basically, we just have something like what Lucas said. And that's about the closest we have to karma.
Yes.
I think,
Yes. Like this stuff with the emergent gameplay. Like the thing is that when you actually build a system and you push it to the players, like for example, our game is a survival game and it's harsh and it has full loot when you're like one level above, and it just seems odd for us to actually make like a pirate actually feel repressed in a way, because being a pirate and actually just killing people and stealing their stuff is one of the gameplays that we have in the game, and we don't want ourselves as developers to choose sides, you know, in a way. So there's definitely some tools for people to actually, well, nothing actually prevents players from actually setting a bounty to a player, for an example, but there's no like a system that actually guarantees that.
It's all confined to emergent gameplay, and that's the thing that's really at the core of this topic is, if we implement something, does it inhibit the emergent gameplay for this aspect? Because we really want, and this is actually something that we saw in our mod, is we saw that the players didn't need anything like a bounty system. They were just handling this themselves. And so we think anytime that you can solve a problem just through emergent gameplay alone, that's the best outcome. That's the best thing that you can do. It's more fun, more fulfilling for all of the players, all the people involved.
Alright, we are 1 hour in, and another more on to go. Approximately, we still have approximately 88 people around, and a bunch of people disappear after we say no keys today. Sorry, guys, but I mean, that's the reality.
You should have kept that.
I tried, guys.
But maybe we lied.
I tried.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe we lied.
Never say no. I mean, something's gonna happen at some point. Believe me. Okay, we have a very interesting question that I wondered myself many times. Eventually I got the answer, but I think it's time, to give at least a bit of hints. So how is possible, this is from Rondel Mord over Twitch, asking, how is possible that natures like trees, etc. are surviving the scorching sun, and one here on winter?
Actually, that's really interesting, because actually people think that everything's burning all the time, but that's not true. Like, you have, like, the small strip of land is not actually small for human beings. It's actually a big chunk of land, but they need to keep migrating. So what actually happens is that this land that you're traveling to, they were actually frost. So they got kind of defrost in the process, and you live in it until it actually get burned. So, like, all of these life actually were kind of like having the time to actually, stay there before they actually get burned. So that's actually how the whole, like, it looks like a dome on games like Fortnite, of course, but like, it's, instead of a shrinking dome that's a circle, it's actually just this thing that goes around the earth, actually burning everything and, freezing the other part.
Yeah. Now, there are some lore-related things here that help assist the foliage, but at the moment that would be a little bit spoiler. So
no more spoiler.
I'm pretty sure that Lorne, our lore guy, would kill me if I said anything.
Yeah, we can't.
Yeah. Okay.
Sorry,
so
guys.
Reasons.
Yeah.
Trust me, that's the answer.
Yes.
But we have reasons. We do.
And things that are frozen.
Yeah. And from Cody on YouTube is asking, is there going to be... I'm going to answer this one. Is there going to be an in-depth gameplay to show off where the game is at right now? And the answer to that is going to come early next year, because this is just our first live stream. Next on the series, we're going to have some live gameplay streams. That's right, guys?
Yep.
So, yeah.
But may I say something? Like, all of the videos that you actually saw, all of our trailers are in-game footage.
Yes.
So yes, so that's not actually the gameplay with the HUD and actually the player perspective all the time, even though we have that in some videos. But everything that you see is in-engine, in-game rendered footage. So
so it's there's no CGI stuff here. Like, it's all taken from the editor or the game which we use to build everything and to play ourselves.
Yes.
So yeah.
Alright. Will there be, this is from our user Scorpion Soul, will there be voice chat in this game, and how much customization do the worker really have? Okay, this is two separate questions.
Two separate questions. You start with the first one. Yes. For the good or for the bad, but it's actually really interesting. It's just like, normal voice chat, like and it's like this distance based. You can't hear everyone that's in the map. You just hear them when you're close by. It's really cool. It works really cool.
So it exists and it works.
Yes, it exists and works. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
And back to the walker customization, I think we already kind of dealt with that question, but maybe you have something else to add while we're there.
Yeah, I mean, there's various things that players can add to their walkers and customize them. So just because you run across one dingy walker, it doesn't mean that the next dingy walker is going to be the same. Certainly, of course, there are going to be similarities, but there's everything that you can build on top of it that can change, as well as upgrades and boosts, which you can sort of tweak your walker with. So there's, cargo capacities, there's different legs and different wings or sails that you can add.
Different
yeah, there's a lot of different things here, and it's stuff that right now we're currently focusing a lot on, because it is, it does come up a lot, and it is important and fun. So
yeah, one thing that we can say is that the walker is one of the most important things that you have in the game, and they're probably gonna have multiple or keep upgrading from one to the other, but you cannot transform one walker into another walker. You build them from the scratch. You have kind of this base blueprint that you actually build it from, but you can actually have, like Chris said, have different parts that you can build, like different wings, different legs. We're planning on adding more kind of customization on this, but also you have the things that you can actually attach to your walker to actually make it better, faster, have more cargo, stuff like that. But you also can build stuff to your walker. So it depends on the deck space that you have. You can have either a fortress, or you can have a war machine. So the customization of the walkers, you can have a different colors for your flags depending on your clans. But the customization of the walker is not only the body of the walker itself, like a car and stuff, but also what you build inside of it, and actually what you put inside of it as well.
Yeah.
On top of it, actually.
All right, Lucas, I have a specific request for you.
Hit me.
Are the plants real? Can you touch the plant to show that it's real?
Oh, these plants are real, yes. They are actually.
You're not supposed to touch real plants. That hurts them.
Oh yeah? I'm sorry. They are a little bit rusty. You need to.
Rusty.
Rusty, yeah.
Okay, I guess.
But they are.
I guess that confirmed that the plants are real. That was a very priority question.
Now they are hurting, and that's your fault.
All right, guys. Yeah, there's still a lot of stuff going on.
Good.
Cool. So, jumper. Question: when you claim an area, is all the Oasis or just a part of it?
No, it's the whole Oasis, and not just that, but it's also the surrounding area, the adjacent tiles. So every map is located on a tile of the world map.
Yeah.
And when you claim an Oasis, what happens is you get that tile and the ones around it. So yeah, there's other areas that you can claim than just the one, and these can change over time as well. So just because you claim a map that doesn't have anything surrounding it, well, we have event maps that can change things up here, and if those arise, you can also have those claimed too.
Yeah, and the claiming is, of course, is a clan race, for people to actually claim stuff, and you need to place your claim walker. This is different stuff than the question, but you need to make them secure for a while, so people are gonna try to not make your claim work. But there's this area that when you actually claim a tile, you have a specific size of area that it's gonna claim, of course. But then if there another claim that actually claim a tile that's close to your but away from the claiming area, it's not gonna claim your area. So that's how it worked for now. So actually clans are gonna try to actually do it first, because the first come first serve is actually the best strategy, because you can actually claim some tiles that are gonna have like really few spots actually unclaimed around. So yeah, if you are like looking for a big claim, that's like, yeah, grind for the claim walker.
And from the user aspect, is there gonna be like a tame option like animals or something, which means is gonna be anything like close to Ark? But I guess
well, I mean,
there is already
Ark was a game that was based around this.
Same.
Certainly, if we have something like that, it's not going to come in that form, and to be such like a core piece of the game. But we do have some similar things. Yes. Yeah. Not gonna. I don't know that we want to give away too much here because this could also. But
let's not.
We won't give away too much.
Yes,
but yeah,
we have
to some extent
interesting.
you have some things like that. Yeah.
Yeah, and you have some interesting creatures already in the game, and we talked about like the possibilities. So yeah.
I'm gonna do a step back to the previous question about claiming Oasis.
Sure.
Specifically, if an Oasis is being claimed, is it possible to unclaim it?
Well, you can certainly stop the process. So it actually takes quite a while to go from saying, "Hey, I have all the resources I need. Now I'm going to claim this," to actually having that effective claim and have it be activated. Takes something like an hour, I believe, at the moment.
Yeah.
And so anywhere in this time period, sorry if I'm touching the table too loud. Anything in that time period. You can stop it. You can fight other players, destroy the claiming walker, and then set up your own. Another thing you can do is just have your own finish before your opponent's.
In the same time,
and that would stop theirs. So there's a few different ways, to fight this race. A few different strategies. Yeah.
Yeah, once the claim is actually deployed, right now you cannot actually destroy it. So it's more about like the anticipation of the fight itself. So like it's gonna be really interesting because like we already had some tests on it. So you can have multiple clans trying to claim the same tile because it's a big map.
Yeah.
And so fights gets really nasty. So. But yeah, you should try to stop the claim before it goes, because then when it's actually settled and deployed, then it's gonna last for some time, and you're gonna need to think about other strategies.
Yeah.
All right, and next to the next. Chanting system was appreciated apparently, and they're wondering if we're gonna add more instruments. We have the chanting now.
Yes.
Oh yeah, that's super cool. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I know Mihao, our sound designer, who implemented this. He's really fond of chanting and instruments. I think at the moment we don't have anything scheduled or in the pipeline for it, but there are discussions all the time about this, for sure.
Yes, for now it's chanting. Of course, it's super suiting to our game. We've made a lot of improvements on it.
Yeah.
Like you saw in the video, like it's way better now. And yes, we probably gonna make this bigger, but
yeah, I mean it's one of those things where our motto, the way that we try to develop is closely with the community, and so if the community really loves the chanting and they want to see additions to this, well, if enough people want it, yeah, sure, absolutely.
Yeah, you can submit your resume to the Last Oasis score right now.
Yeah,
just talk to Error 404.
And speaking of which, they're asking where they can get the Last Oasis banner.
This?
Yeah, I guess.
Oh, with this one?
This is a one of a kind.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I heard we're soon gonna open e-commerce online. We're gonna send devs bath water, right?
Well, maybe.
Yeah.
I definitely use a lot of water.
Cool. That's very good. Water is good. Okay, after this cringy moment, let's move forward.
Branded content.
Yeah, sorry guys, I couldn't. We're 1 hour in, by the way, and 1 hour and 10. And back to clans.
Yeah.
Is there a wars? Sorry. Do we have like interaction in our clan, like ranking? You can set up, who owns what, chest, workers, and whatsoever.
Clan permissions.
Yeah,
Yes.
permissions.
Yes, absolutely. So yeah, you can set permissions on a number of different things. You can decide sort of who can take a walker and who basically can't. Yeah, I mean, any clan-based PvP game obviously needs to have these. So, yeah, I mean, I'm not sure what else we can add there. Yeah, we have it.
Yeah, clans is like a big thing on the game, as one of the biggest. So of course we already have a lot of stuff. We already have like clan permissions. Now we just need to figure out what we actually need to add more and make the clan management better for players.
Yeah.
Hey Chris, we have one guy over YouTube asking if it's possible to wear your exact jacket in the game.
This jacket?
Yeah, is it possible to wear it in the game?
It's a Polish jacket.
At the moment, no. Maybe if we end up in the future doing some MTXs, maybe this will be one of those vanity items.
Yeah. Titus jacket.
Someone is asking very specific questions about how the game currently handle, internet access from user, meaning if somebody has a very slow connection, how the game and servers are currently prioritizing its access, how feasible is the game for someone, with not a very high-speed connection, and...
So, it sort of depends on a lot of different things, like where do you live, for example. Right now, our plans are to be in 4 different continents at release. So if you're in those areas, you should see pretty good ping. However, if you happen to have, say, 200 millisecond delays, in a melee fighting game, there's not really much that you can do here to sort of level the playing field, say. That said, in our betas, we do have a lot of NA players that play with us here in Europe, and I think they're able to compete, maybe not on the same playing field, but they are able to compete, and I'm not sure what else we can add there. I mean, of course, being a melee game, not that we don't have range, because we do, but being a melee game, there's just not too much you can do once you hit like this 200 millisecond area, but you can switch to some ranged weapons, and at least while you're running around on foot, there's not too many options for you, and that's actually by intention. But when you're on a walker and you're participating in walker versus walker combat or walker versus player combat, there are many different ranged weapons which you can use, which are much more suitable for that type of ping.
Yeah.
So certainly, if you're a player who really just has 200 milliseconds and there's not delay and there's not really much you can do to improve that, then yeah, you can still play the game for sure. But the melee combat, honestly, that's going to be a little bit difficult for you, I think, for sure.
All right. Rondelworm, the guy from before, is asking now: are there gonna be story-driven events?
Story-driven,
like lore-driven events? Yes.
I mean, yeah, it sort of depends on the form in which you mean, but yes, the short answer is yes.
If it's like an RPG campaign or something like that, well, probably not now. It would be something cool to do, but we're probably gonna leave that to the players to actually create this kind of stuff. But there's the event maps, for an example. They are actually we have some stuff that happens occasionally during the game. I'm not going to tease that much and spoil that much, but there's some stuff that occasionally happen. And if you're logged in at that time in the right map and stuff, you're going to stumble into this stuff. And you also have the event maps, and all of them are tied to the lore of the universe of Last Oasis. So if this is the kind of history-driven stuff that are going to happen, events, then yes. But if we're going to do some kind of community day that we're gonna do, you know, like I don't know, raid the something. That,
Developers.
yeah, that's probably not something that we're planning right now. Like that's definitely not that we're planning right now. But yeah, inside the game, yes, there's some stuff.
Stony Linechen is asking us, how do you feel your pierogies? Have you tried blueberries?
I love it. Yeah, pierogi jagodama is one of my favorite ones. It's amazing.
Yeah. This was when I came to Poland. This was the first time that I had ever had pierogi.
Same,
me as well.
Yeah,
same.
yeah, and
actually, Polish devs and all of the stream is Polish, by the way.
Yeah. So
we live in Poland. It's a really cool place. There's some like purists that actually don't believe that pierogi with blueberries are actually pierogi. They think that this is something created by capitalism to make money. Yeah. But I really like pierogi jagodami. That's the one with the blueberries. It's really fucking good. I'm sorry.
Are we guys in Poland right now? Yes, we're in Poland right now.
We're in Poland, yes. Yeah. Wrocław city is a really cool city to visit. Yeah. Not that touristic as Krakow that Giorgio actually lived at some point, right, Giorgio?
Why are you giving private information about that?
Oh, I'm sorry, like that Aero 404 lived in some other places, but I confused that one. But it's a really cool city, you should visit.
Okay, I have to go back to some previous questions. Yeah, I just got doxed by my own colleagues. Can you believe that, guys?
No, it's a different guy actually. It's the lemonade.
Lucas, you did already enough damages. Thank you. Alright, so, more important stuff. Is there a war system in place to attack defend claims? There is a timer or anything like it? Or claims 24/7?
No, absolutely. So the way that it works is once you set up a claim, it's active for at least 24 hours. And after this 24-hour period, as Lucas said earlier, when you set it up, it becomes invulnerable. But after that 24-hour period, that goes away. And so now it can be attacked and someone else can set up a claim. So what you'll probably want to do as the claim owner is anticipate this, the hour at which this claim is going to go away and prepare for fights, because probably your enemies are going to be doing the same thing. So, yeah.
And from Volatile asking, why the game is called Last Oasis if there are more than one Oasis?
You're always in search of the last one. That's the thing.
That's fair.
But there's multiple reasons for it. This is
my reason. Share one of them, like
this that I just said.
Fair.
Yeah, that one.
Okay, so and so let me go back to this. I will start the answer to this one. How are you guys going to keep being innovative to add new features? Because too many survival games take too long to make changes and addition to gameplay, which makes people leave. How will the game last? So I mean, generally speaking, I will say that is for my hand, it's safe to say that we are claiming the fact that we are a community-driven game, and
absolutely.
Me as a community manager, I mean, I definitely pushing for that to happen. So we want to keep getting as many suggestions and feedback from the community, and try to put more and more features based on what it feels more necessary for keeping the community alive and thriving.
Yeah.
And I guess you guys can corroborate that.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I think our past as modders really does a lot of work here when it comes to iteration speed. And developing with the community, as we are the community. I mean, we were the community and we play the game itself. So a lot of the feedback that comes from players, like a lot of the time, the major stuff, it's things that we're also experiencing when we play as well. So a lot of times we don't have to wait. But what we do is we sit on the Discord. I mean, I think everyone that is in our Discord has seen Chad's talk to them, has seen Pogo talk, and our developers talk. And this is just one thing that is core to us as developers. Our philosophy is developing the game with this dialogue between the community and developers. And that's just something that we never want to get rid of, and has been with us from our modding stages.
Right. There was a recurring question that I haven't answered yet about third-party servers and local servers, and
Yeah.
is it possible to play the game outside of the official servers?
Yeah. So certainly at some point this will be possible. We're not sure at the moment if this is going to be something we'll have day one early access, say, but it's in the works, it's in the process. Players can definitely look forward to this. If for some reason we weren't, say, able to get it in at release, it would be coming very, very shortly afterwards.
Yeah, right. And cool. Players can understand as well, like that this actually takes us, it brings us challenges, how we actually work with our partners to actually provide like a really reliable system and service to our players. But yes, that's definitely something that we're working on, and making sure that when we release like custom servers, there's actually going to be really, really good for the player to actually play.
Yeah.
Okay, and somebody also asked about other, sort of a recurring question about how viable is playing solo or in small group, and I believe our latest updates in the beta are actually a sort of answer to that. Is that right?
Sorry, can you repeat the last part of the question?
I believe our latest updates in the beta testing right now are aimed specifically for answering this kind of question, like how viable is the game for solo small groups.
Yeah, I mean, like I said earlier in the stream, I as a player tend to play solo. I very rarely play with clan members and fellow devs, so we are also aware of these. The gameplay experience when you choose to play this way. I'm not the only developer who tends to play that way as well. We have a fellow game designer who also chooses to play this way, one of our animators. So there's multiple people in the team, and our recent changes were aimed at just this, just changing and making it easier. Not really in terms of nullifying the experience for groups and making it so that like you can't cooperate. Still, cooperation in playing with large groups is the best way to play. It's the most fun way to play, of course.
Yes.
But if you're a solo player, absolutely, you can still play solo. Now, I think there are some things that you'll not be able to do, like hunt the worm, for example. I think that one's going to be pretty difficult solo. But that's still something that's
this actually something that I like a lot. Is really cool that actually you unfold different possibilities in gameplay with the extent of your group, right? And this is actually what multiple games actually give. And you can, for an example, you can experience the worm solo, but probably you're not going to fight it alone. But maybe you're going to travel to the event map, and there are going to be big clans there, and you're going to have a really small walker trying to catch yourself one scale or something, like, and if that would be Herculean for you to do it alone. But
or if you're a good PvP player, you can also wait around until the end of the fight and then try to kill the players that just killed the worm.
Yeah, that's true.
There's multiple ways to go about this if you're a smart player. So
yes.
All right. So guys, we're already 1 hour and 22 minutes in, and I think it's safe to say that we have another 10 minutes to go.
Okay.
So guys, for whoever is following this right now, please shoot as many questions as you can. We're gonna have another 10 minutes, and then we're gonna call it a day. And I have another question.
And eat some pierogi.
And eat some pierogi for sure, and drink more cactus extract.
Yes.
And lemonade. I'm gonna merge two questions into one. One was about asking console versions, and the other was about controller support. And I guess both questions kind of go along at the moment.
Yeah, they do. So We've had a few people in the team. I mean, obviously, Last Oasis is a PC game meant to be played with a mouse and keyboard, at least as default. But we've had a few people hook up controllers and play, and for the most parts, right now it works. There's a few things that we would have to do to fully support having so few keys or buttons at your disposal. Excuse me, but this is mostly just a production question. When you go to consoles, for example, Microsoft and Sony have rigorous testing that you have to undergo, and what we don't want to do is get in a situation where our PC version is more updated than the console version. That doesn't feel good as a player when that's the case. You're locked off from new content, and in an early access, when you're getting content, constantly, well, now it just slows everything down, and I don't think it is suitable. But that doesn't mean that we won't have it for early access at some point. It's no guarantees, but we're certainly considering it, and it's on the table. When it comes to controller support, this is also a production question because there's a lot of UI stuff that we would have to change just to be able to support those buttons. But for the most part, like there's no fundamental limitations. The combat system works with controllers. People have used it. Grappling works with controllers. There's more that we would need to do to get that supported properly and feel really great. But yeah, it's definitely something that's I think is going to come at some point. Yeah.
And I realized now that by saying Cactus Extract, I gave available information about stuff that is in the game that we never really spoke too much in public, and is giving a bit of space to controversy over the chat.
What?
So I mentioned Cactus Extract. So yeah. I guess you can guys maybe give a bit of a spoiler about the kind of system.
What is the Cactus Extract?
Yeah, what is the Cactus Extract?
Okay, so yeah.
Can you say a bit about the vitamins?
Yeah. Yes, we have vitamins, and then this nomads. You need to understand that this is a post-apocalyptic setup. So this is like years and years and years in advance, and there's some kind of vestige. I forgot the word. It's like traces from another civilization that these nomads kind of have known. And they have these things called vitamins that actually, like, when they craft it and they consume it, they kind of can access some of that old knowledge, like in a kind of trance way. So the Cactus Extract is one of those. It's one of those vitamins that these nomads can craft. And it actually gives you like some boosts for your character and also unlocks some possibilities. I'm not going to spoil for everyone that's not in our closed beta, but yes, it unlocks some possibilities for you as a nomad to create new stuff. And I guess that's the extent what I can say. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So,
oh my god.
Somebody was asking back to the, solo and small group experience. Is there a way, to automate production?
Yeah, of course, absolutely. So elaborate. This works in various levels. So obviously there is the claims, but as a solo player, probably you're not going to have access to it. It doesn't mean that you can't, but it's going to be difficult, I think. What you could do here when it comes to claims is, since maps have a lifetime, you might be able to go to a map that is probably a few days from entering, or rather exiting this habitable zone, and set up a claim there without too much competition. So then you would get passive resources
from players.
From players that are playing on that map. Another thing that you can do is you can also queue things that you want to craft in every crafting station that you have.
You can make Factory? Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
factory. Yeah,
Yeah.
you can make a factory.
Absolutely. And then, so that at that point, what you have is basically you already have the resources, and you want to turn these into the finished product. But we also have automation for acquisition of the base resources themselves. You can set up a quarry which will basically pull resources in from its surrounding area. At this point, though, it's not necessarily something that you need to have a base for, but bases are also not the easiest to break into.
Yes.
So just because you are a solo player doesn't mean that you cannot access this gameplay. And just because you have a quarry on the map, say undefended, no walls or anything around it, doesn't mean that you're going to log back in to find it destroyed. Maybe you'll just find it. Yeah, there's a chance, but maybe you'll just find it looted because really there's no reason to destroy it because it's just automatically drawing in resources. So just about everything that covers the topic of automation is still accessible for you as a solo player.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. So wrapping up, I'm gonna ask you a question that I saved for the end.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And from one of our users over Discord, asking how many players do you expect this game will be able to support?
Yeah. So, like I said in the very beginning, the way that the world works is somewhat similar to a more traditional MMO in that you have a shard or a realm that all of the players sit on. Maybe at some point we'll separate these, but at the moment, every single player in the game can interact with and meet up with every other player in the game as well. The regions of our world are separated, so there is some distance between, say, North America and Asia, but potentially those players can meet. So yeah, everyone is basically in the same world, and we don't have any, say, player cap. So yeah.
Yeah, but the way that it works, you have like this. The world map actually is like, you have the regions there, and the regions are actually the maps in the region, like the oases available in each region, and they are kind of like physically distant from each other. So to travel from EU to NA, for example, it costs more than to travel inside the EU servers. But then you also go into the oasis, and inside the oasis, then is actually where you meet the players, right? You actually can play with them. Yeah. And we're still doing a lot of testing on that to have a clearance on how many players we can support inside one map with the optimum performance. Yeah. So for now, I can say that it's like around 50-ish players each oasis.
Definitely 50.
But since we actually have this, there's a ton of oases. We can have we don't have a player cap. It depends on how many players are online, and actually the shards they get bigger automatically to sit the game is not going to be full, for an example. In a way, if it actually grows with new oasis for players to play,
and we can spin up more servers as we need, and these are also done automatically. So if there is some type of routing going on with what we have, additional servers will come online to help resolve that.
So for the very last question for today, I'm gonna pick that one, and is specifically about taking the chance, to wrap things up. I'm gonna answer this question: when are you gonna give access without NDA and to lead the influencers and whatsoever to play the game? So guys, answering that question, we're gonna start to give away keys to influencers and media whatsoever closer to the release, which is happening in early 2020. Want to say anything more about that, by the way, guys? Early 2020 is fine. So yeah, but before that, we're gonna start doing our own gameplay stream. I'm gonna start doing the gameplay stream, guys, and so keep following our streams. You can follow us as you can see on Mixer, on YouTube, on Twitch, on Facebook. We're gonna probably even stream on Steam as far when it coming to the gameplay. So guys, thank you very much for joining us today. I hope you enjoyed this session, and don't forget to wishlist the game on Steam. And from Donkey Crew, today is everything, and
Yep.
bye.
Thanks,
Yeah,
guys.
thank you guys.
Oh yeah, and
Stay hydrated.
Stay hydrated. Bye.